Hello everyone, this is Nurse B with Buzzing with the Bee. Today I am going to speak with you about screening for hypertension and non-pharmacologic management of hypertension. The title of this vlog is High Blood Pressure Lurking in Your Life? Before I get started, I want to direct your attention to the like and share icon that's floating on the video and to the subscribe button that's listed below the video. If you would like to share my vlog or follow me, please press the subscribe button now. Thank you. Let's get started. Hypertension is defined as a blood pressure greater than 130/90. When we look at your blood pressure reading, we look at your systolic pressure and your diastolic pressure. Your systolic pressure is the top number, and it represents the pressure in your heart when it contracts or beats. The bottom number, which is your diastolic blood pressure, represents the pressure in your heart at rest or between beats. Now, it's important that you monitor your blood pressure because as we age, our blood pressure tends to rise. The revised blood pressure recommendation by the American Heart Association lists a new category of prehypertensive, which is a blood pressure of 120 to 129/80. The reason for this new category is for your healthcare provider to start monitoring you more frequently and therefore prevent the development of hypertension. As part of the screening for hypertension, we need to identify the risk factors that you may have. Remember that some risk factors are modifiable and others are not. It is important to identify your risk factors for hypertension and prevent complications from hypertension that may decrease your health or increase the risk of death. First, let us identify non-modifiable risk factors such as your age and your family history or genetics. Remember, I told you that as people age, there's an increase in your blood pressure. Many people develop hypertension when they get middle age. The other thing is your family history. You can't change that. You can't change your age, you can't change your family history, and you can't change your genes. I have high blood pressure. My mother had high blood pressure, and siblings have high blood pressure also. Remember, once you get hypertension, you always have hypertension. Now, you may be controlling it to keep your numbers down, but once you stop controlling it, the hypertension will resurface again. In my research about hypertension, I found several articles that identify some genes that may mutate or alter that may predispose one to developing hypertension. And one of the genes is a MYHD variant that's found on chromosome 22. Other risk factors for hypertension include a high-fat diet, sedentary lifestyle, stress, smoking, alcohol consumption, and weight gain. These last 5 risk factors are modifiable, and we will discuss them later in this vlog. Now let's talk about the incidence of hypertension in Black Americans. 1 in 3 Americans develop hypertension. 57% of Black Americans have hypertension, and of that group, 59% of them are Black males. Black Americans who are most likely to develop hypertension are typically middle-aged, inactive, overweight, and have type 2 diabetes. Also, Black people demonstrate more associated diseases, a higher death rate, experience more fatal and non-fatal strokes, develop cardiovascular disease like coronary artery disease and peripheral vascular disease, and develop end-stage renal disease from hypertension. This is why it is the most important for you to get your blood pressure checked early in your adult life and prevent or get control of your blood pressure. Hypertension is sometimes called the silent killer because Many people who develop hypertension have no symptoms. The first symptom might be a stroke. People who develop symptoms of hypertension are lucky. I'm one of those persons. I had symptoms. The symptoms of hypertension are headache, nosebleed, and shortness of breath. For me, it was a headache. I would wake up, and several times during the day, I would experience excruciating headaches, and it felt like my head was going to blow off. And I would actually put my hand on top of my head to try to keep that pressure in. And finally, I realized that maybe my blood pressure is the problem. So I got it checked, and it was 149/93. So I had my blood pressure checked several times over the week, and it remained in the 140 to 149 over the 90 to 98 range. So I knew that I needed to see my doctor, and that is what I did. And that is what I want you to do. If you don't have symptoms, the only way you're going to find out that you have hypertension is just by getting your blood pressure checked. You can get your blood pressure checked at your physician's office. You can buy a blood pressure cuff and have it done. Or when you go to the pharmacy or in Walmart, they have those blood pressure stations where you can just stick your arm into the machine and it will take your blood pressure. It is important that you get your blood pressure checked on a regular basis, at least once a year. If you suspect your blood pressure is high, you need to have your blood pressure checked more often. How often is more often? Well, once your doctor identifies that you have hypertension, the doctor is going to want to monitor you more frequently. If your blood pressure is 130 to 139 over 80 to 89, the doctor is going to ask you to monitor it and come back in the office to have a recheck within 2 months. If your blood pressure is greater than 140 over 90, the doctor will ask you to come in and have a recheck within a month. The doctor will also ask you to change some of your lifestyle practices to a more healthy lifestyle practices that may decrease your blood pressure. Now, if your blood pressure is 160 over 100 or greater, you need to see a doctor immediately. You need to either call your doctor and get an appointment to see him that same day, go to the emergency room, or go to one of those urgent care clinics. Now, if you go to the emergency room or an urgent care clinic, remember that's temporary medical management until you can see your primary health care provider. Your doctor or the urgent care doctor will recommend that you see your doctor within 3 days. Please follow up with your doctor. If you do not, I can guarantee you that your blood pressure is going to rise once again. Now, your doctor is going to ask you about your family history of hypertension, and the doctor is going to discuss modifiable risk factors and what you can do to decrease those risk factors. The first risk factor is being overweight. The doctor is going to recommend that you lose weight. If you lose 10 to 20 pounds, your blood pressure can decrease 5 to 20 millimeters mercury. That's a significant decrease in your blood pressure. You want to get to a body mass index of 18.5 to 24.9 kilograms per meter square. The next thing the doctor is going to ask you about is your exercise. I'm going to ask you to increase your exercise. If you can walk or do some type of exercise for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, that will result in about a 10 millimeters mercury decrease in your blood pressure. Next is going to be your diet. Now, weight, diet, and exercise go together. Okay? So if you do those three, you're going to decrease your blood pressure. Now, the first thing the doctor is going to talk to you about when they talk about your diet is the amount of salt that you eat, or foods that contain salt. Foods that contain salt is going to be processed foods. You need to leave them alone. The other thing is adding extra salt. Now, some people automatically add salt to their food as soon as they get their plate without even tasting it. If you have that habit, you need to break that. Then they're going to recommend that you change your diet to one that includes more fruits and vegetables and less fat and sweets. And that diet is called the DASH diet. I want you to eat 7 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Also, increase the amount of water that you drink. Your doctor should inquire about the amount of stress in your life and recommend ways that you can decrease the stress if you have it. Most of us have some type of stress. Ways to decrease your stress could be just relaxation techniques, walking, running, singing, dancing, listening to music, exercises. These are all stress reduction techniques. Whatever works for you is what works for you. I love to read and I love to garden, so these are stress reductors for me. Stop smoking if you smoke. Smoking causes constriction, a narrowing of your arteries. And so then the heart requires more pressure to push that blood through that narrow opening. Limit your alcohol intake. For women, only 1 drink per day, and for men, only 2 drinks per day. That represents 2 beers. That is a 12-ounce beer, not a 64-ounce beer. I'm saying that because that's what my brother would say. Is that a 64-ounce? So, no, it's not a 64-ounce. So limit the amount of alcohol that you take. If you are not successful with getting your blood pressure down with these measures, then your doctor will add drugs. I will talk about medication management in the next vlog. I hope that this vlog has helped you. And if you have high blood pressure, or if you don't know whether you have it or not, that you will begin to get your blood pressure checked. Thank you.